Our second speaker this evening is giving the much-known icebreaker speech. Bryce Palmer-Toy recently joined the club to improve his interviewing skills. In his free time, he likes backpacking and playing video games, and he once even had a world record in Mario Kart Super Circuit, which doesn't surprise me. He's very quick on his feet, as you can see how he does table topics particularly well. He's on track to become a patent attorney. So to all those inventors out there, don't worry, help is on the way. Please help me welcome Bryce Palmer-Toy for his icebreaker speech.
Hi, can you guys online hear me?
Great. Well, for my first speech, I'm going to introduce myself, talk a little bit about what drove me to join Toastmasters and what I hope to get out of it, as well as my background in general. I was born in Boston in 2000. I lived there for the first few years of my life until I was 5, and my dad got a job working for Kaiser Permanente out here in California. So we moved to Agora Hills, and I've lived there ever since. I attended LVUSD schools throughout my whole childhood, starting with Willow Elementary School, then Ladero Canyon Middle School, and then Agora High School. And from a young age, I had a predilection towards math. I used to spend a lot of my time in non-math classes working on my own little personal math problems just for fun. I always enjoyed the puzzle-like nature of it and the way it was entirely self-contained. You can do math without needing to know any external facts about the world, and you don't need any outside resources like with science or history or really any other subject. So when I graduated high school and I went off to UCLA, I never really seriously considered anything else but majoring in math. However, at UCLA, I started to have some doubts. I had many great professors and did really well in my classes, but when it came to actual research problems, I felt like I hit a limit. With pure math problems, all the ones that hadn't already been solved were way outside my ability. And for applied math problems, I felt that they were all better suited to be handled by people with more specialized knowledge than a jack of all trades math major like me. So I had a bit of an identity crisis at that point and began looking for other kinds of career paths. And that's when I decided to look at law more closely. I had always had some interest in law in the back of my mind. It seemed like a very stimulating career, one where you could do a lot of social good and one where you could make a lot of money too. But I had never looked at it that closely. And so I took the LSAT and through a program at UCLA, interned for the Department of Justice in DC for a quarter in the Environment and Natural Resources Division. And from my exposure there, it seemed like law was everything I had hoped it would be. They're doing a lot of good work for the world, and the job had a lot of variety. They were government lawyers, so they weren't making the big bucks, but none of them were on the dole. So that really whet my appetite to practice law. But I had one major reservation, and that was my really poor social skills. That had always been an issue for me, and when I got to college, that translated to very bad interviewing skills. When I had looked for internships throughout college, I had a very poor success rate with interviews, much worse than it should have been given my qualifications on paper. And that was just because I would reach the interview stage and then just totally bomb it every single time. So when I graduated college, I decided to try to change that. And so I took on a few public-facing jobs working at some restaurants, and I joined this club. So far, I think I have seen a difference, and it's not just my own internal impression. I've been just applying for random jobs that I don't actually want to take on the side just to get interview practice, and I've gotten some offers from them. So I'm really happy about that. I am really enjoying this process of self-improvement, and I'm excited to see where it takes me in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Bryce, and congratulations on your icebreaker speech. For those of you online, check the chat box. You'll have a link to provide Bryce feedback through a Google form. And for those of you in the room, please take about a minute to complete a speech evaluation form that you can hand to Bryce in person.